Tell me, sir, where are you from and what's your name?
Well, where I'm from, actually, I was born in the Caribbean, and a small Caribbean island named Grenada, otherwise known as the Spice Island, um, from the parish of Grenada in a little village named Butch Grove. So that's where I grew up, spent most of my teenage years.
So tell me about your teenage years growing up there. What was it like?
My teenage years, what was it like? Well, friends playing marbles, going to the river and bathe and having a good time with your friends, going to school, um, playing, well, cricket was the game. Everybody played cricket as a kid. Um, and all the other things that kids, does along the way.
Hmm.
It was a good life. We had fun, lots of laughter. It's a part of my life that I always remember. It's something that's etched in your brain, the things you did as a kid with your friends and so on.
Lovely, lovely.
So that's how it was.
Did you play any other sport other than cricket?
Cricket was my main game. That was my main thing. And outside of that, in the back of my head, in my mind, was music.
So tell me, what got you into music? Like when you first started in the beginning, what actually got you?
Well, I always had that desire to be a musician, to play an instrument, to sing. But looking back, I was a little bit shy, to sing, people listening to you. But inside of me was that burning desire. I wanted to sing, I wanted to play an instrument. But at the time, you didn't, music was not something that was taught in schools, or you didn't have libraries to go to. You didn't have all of those things. But I wanted it. And you relied on somebody in the village who played an instrument, and if you were a good kid, back then they will teach you something along the way. Even purchasing an instrument it was so far fetched to be able to buy an instrument, you know. But I wanted it, and it was in me. And it's amazing how things work when you hold on to that burning desire. Something happens, and you find your way in places, that you find yourself doing the things that you really wanted to do. And in the neighborhood, we had a band named Rhythm Riders, and I wanted to be part of the band. And my friend of mine got in, and he was playing the guitar, and he managed to sort of bring me in. I started playing the cowbell and the garacha. That at that point I had access to other instruments, so I started learning to play the guitar, and one thing moved from one stage to the next, and I was part of the band, and it started rolling. Getting my music on the move.
So when you started, as you said, playing the cowbell,
Yeah.
moving up the scale, obviously you're going to play different instruments.
Yes.
What was the first instrument you played after that?
I started playing the guitar, and what happened? The guy who was playing the guitar migrated to the United States, so there was an opening. We had to find somebody, and there I was. I filled the spot. I started playing guitar with the band. And after that, we ordered an electronic organ for the band with the hopes of finding somebody to play it. But that was a little bit hard to find somebody to play the organ. So I started, whatever little I knew on the guitar, I taught myself how to apply it to the electric organ. And I started playing the organ with the band at that point. So that was another step up, and I moved from one stage to the next. And after that, myself, I left, I came to the United States.
So since you moved to the United States, what have you been doing musically?
When I came here, I played with various groups all over Brooklyn. We had small groups, and we played in all those basement parties and, you know, Caribbean parties, and we did lots of gigs here and there, in the summertime. And at that time, it was great. Plus, I was exposed to so much more information. You could purchase books and learn scales and theory. But basically, my knowledge came from on the job, learning by playing with groups. I really did not go to a music school as such. And thereafter, I joined a group out of Westchester County. It was an American outfit. It was called South Road Connection. And we were assigned to a small label named Mahogany Records. We did one album for them. And then after that, we moved and we got signed to United Artists Records. We did 2 albums for them. But the music business is a struggle. We tried and we were playing all the gigs and on the weekends and going out and promoting the album and so on. But it's a rough road. And there came a time when the members got sort of downhearted. They felt that things wasn't moving as fast as they wanted it to, and eventually the group broke up. But at the same time, all of that technology came in. And I wasn't, like we say in the islands, I wasn't a spring chicken at the time. So I said that was a great thing, the internet and the technology, but I thought it was something for the younger generation. But then I realized if I learned it, I could do all of my composition myself. So I was forced to learn, and that's what I did. And I set up my own studio. I bought my software and did all the different things I was supposed to do. And I started doing my own CDs or albums, as they say. And up to this point, I've done 6 CDs, which is out there on the internet. You can go to CD Baby, iTunes, Rhapsody, Spotify, whatever site people go to for music, you can go there. All my stuff is out there. So it's a labor of love, and I've been at it, and I enjoy doing it, and that's how it evolved.
So, as you mentioned earlier, you said that you guys broke up after a couple of years.
Yeah.
What did you think the main thing that caused the breakup?
Well, it all comes back to money. Bills has to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hang in and you don't have the 9 to 5, so you have gigs now and then, and this week is good and this month is good, but you have months when things are low, and you have bills to pay, you have a family, and you have to take care of responsibility. Life is in your face, and you got to take care of it. So, the members started, getting disgruntled, and we went separate ways, and so that's how that worked out. And I continued writing.
So tell me, as you said, you continued writing. To this day, what inspires you?
Well, music for me, it's a natural process. It comes to me. It comes to me. I've never been to a music school like Juilliard or Berkeley or one of those big music schools. But I sit on my keyboards and I could come up with a composition in an hour. Lyrics, progressions, arrange it. I do everything. I edit it, I mix it, I master it, I do everything. It just comes. So I just have to keep doing it. And it seems to me if I stop doing it, I don't think I might be a very happy guy to be around. I'll be unhappy. It's just part of me. So I'm just doing it. It's, like I usually say, at this point, it's a labor of love.
Excellent.
And I just do it. And I trust that whatever I do can be good to somebody out there. It can help to inspire someone. The lyrics, because my lyrics are very inspirational. It's nothing filthy, or you can't let the kids listen to it. It's good music. It's clean and it's wonderful.
So, since you were talking about the technology, the advancement, this is what helps you to create what you create now. How long did it take for you to understand how it works in order to get it to do what you wanted to do?
Well, that in the beginning was a challenge, because I think I was putting the blocks in my mind. I said it's a great thing, but I was telling myself that that's for the young generation. I'm too old for this. And that made it much harder to understand what was happening. But the desire to succeed was stronger than giving up or failing. So I worked hard, I read the manuals, I asked questions, I run into other musicians and asked them, how do you achieve this or do that? And they would say, well, this plus that, or do this, and you'll get that results. So I went about it that way. And strangely, it's like the brain, something happens. It's like windows opens or doors opens in your brain, and everything starts falling in place, and you start understanding how to do things. And I move from strength to strength to strength, and I'm at this point where I have a lot to learn. There's so much, you never finish learning. But at this point, I'm at the point where I can complete my music, master it and have it out there, a marketable product. So that's where I'm at. But there's so much more to learn.
Exactly.
You never finish learning.
So tell me, what is your creative process like? Like, what is the first thing you do? It's like, for instance, you're working on a new song or you have an idea for a song. What is the first thing you do to start the creative process?
It comes in different ways. Sometimes I will sit on the keyboard and come up with a nice chords progression and listen to it and maybe come up with a melody that would fit there. Or like they say in the business, a hook line, a chorus, which is easy so people can remember it or sing it easily. Sometimes I use that process. Sometimes I'm driving and an idea just pop in my head. And some lyrics, so I have to write it down quick because by my bedside I have a pad. In my car I have a pad with something to always write because you don't know when it's going to come. And when it comes, you have to grasp it at that time because it doesn't come back if you don't hold on to it. So sometimes the lyrics comes first. Sometimes it's the music and I build on it. Or an idea. Like it's a little bit funny. I remember one of my songs on my Moves and Groove 5, I had problems with my eyes, so I went to the doctor and he had to do surgery on both eyes. And he said, Mr. Forrester, you were almost blind, you didn't realize that, because it was so bad. So a cousin of mine called me and I said, the doctor said I was blind, but now I can see. And afterwards, I said, that's a nice hook line. I was blind, now I can see. So I used that to write a song. So on my CD you'll have, I was blind, but now I can see. So sometimes little things come to you and you use it and you capitalize and you expand it and you write lyrics to go along with it. So it's many different ways. The vibes flows from the divine, wherever it's coming from, whatever time it is, however it comes, you have to grasp it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So tell me now, if you had the opportunity to collaborate on a song with any artist, who would that artist be and why?
Wow. Who would that artist be? Uh, there's so many good guys out there. I think about guys like Stevie Wonder.
Good choice.
He's a genius in his own right. Well, it's too late to mention Bob Marley because he has left us. Guys like that. I mean, my hero growing up in the Caribbean, my roots music was the Mighty Sparrow, Slinger Francisco. He's my hero because that's who I grew up listening to. He's the greatest of all. So when you think about those people, you said, wow, it would be an honor to do something with people like this. Yeah.
Excellent. If you could go and open a show for any artist, who would it be?
If I can go and open a show for any artist, who would it be? Well, it's crazy. I'm going back in time. One of my favorite groups of all time was Earth, Wind and Fire. When I was playing, they were the big dogs around, and they have made an impression on me. I saw them in concert, and those guys are like, back then, was out of this world. The things they did, you know. Um, the young today's artists, a lot of them really. I'm not into the rap, so some of the big artists today are rap artists and so on. But there are a lot of good guys out there. A lot of good guys. You know, that I wouldn't mind being close to just because of their genius. And the things they're doing.
Excellent. What is one message that you will give your fans?
What is one message I would give my fans? Um, Believe in oneself. You might be listening to my music, which I wish you do. Check it out. But what I find, lots of people have dreams, but they hold on to it, they stifle it. So if you're out there and you have a dream that's burning inside of you, find a way to get to it. Life is in your face. I understand we got bills to pay, responsibilities. But if there is something in you that you want to do, get to it. It might be 1 hour a week. That would be 4 hours a month. You're getting closer. Don't give up. Believe in yourself and do whatever you want to do. Because somebody out there in the world is waiting for you. But you got to do what you want to do.
Excellent. Do you sing in the shower? And what songs do you sing?
How do I sing in the shower? That's different. Well, I find myself singing, going back to my roots music, my calypso music. I love it, So it's those songs are etched in my brain. So anytime I have to sing a song, I go back to my old calypsos, because I love them. It means so much to me. Sometimes I do my own songs. I sing my own songs also because they're part of me. It's like the extension of me. Yeah.
Excellent. Let's say you weren't doing music. What else would you be doing instead of music?
What else would I be doing instead of music? I love automobiles. I love cars. I love fast cars. If I really had my way and the time and the space, I would buy an old car and really take it out, put big engine and soup it up and like try to do so much in a quarter mile. I love that.
So now, speaking of cars, what's your favorite car and why?
Right now, I like to enjoy an automobile, but with some power. I'm not one for breaking the speed limit, but it's nice to have power. So you're cruising along, but if you need it, you could just you step on it and you could just move. So I like nice cars. BMWs. Even the Bentleys. Automobiles that you can enjoy. I like the Range Rover. It's a fast vehicle. Also, I like the Jeep Sahara. I think they're fun vehicles. They're fun vehicles.
If you have to put as much power you want in any car, how much would you go for?
at least I need at least 850 to 1,000 horsepower.
You sure you can handle all that power?
I'll have to take it easy. It might not be roadworthy, but you get on the tracks, and open it up,
Excellent, excellent. Where have you performed when you was in the band? One performance that you remember to this day?
We back then when I played, a lot of the places does not exist anymore. Um, There was a club in the city. What was the name of it? I forget the name now. It was a club that was run by WBLS at the time. A lot of guys from BLS, Frankie Cracker, and those guys were running, was in that club. I just have a blank on the name of it. That was a very nice club. And we have done things all over the place. We used to play gigs. We had a hookup with the military. So we used to play like Boston Sub Base, Lorraine Air Force Base, go down to Fort Dix, McGuire, all those different. We used to do all of that. And then back in the days, you had the disco. So you had all those big clubs. There was a big club in New Jersey called the Soap Factory. They had a small plane hanging in the roof, you know, and that was a nice gig. We played there, and it was a lot of fun. Those days you had those places were packed with people, everybody doing all that disco moves and all those. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We
Excellent.
did a couple of gigs up in here in Westchester County. We I remember we opened one time in out in Westchester. We opened for Roy Ayers. Roy Ayers then was he was a big art. He had that big song, "The Sunshine." Everybody loved "The Sunshine." Was his big song, and we opened for him. Out in Westchester County. And we played out in Rutgers University. I remember playing out there, and uh, Whitney Houston mom was performing. Then she had records out. She had a nice 45 out. And it was a lot of fun playing out. You get to run into you ran into a lot of people. It was a lot of fun.
Excellent. So tell me, what is your favorite song to perform when you was with the band? Do you have a favorite?
Uh, did I have a favorite song? Well, at the time we did what was on the charts, what was in the clubs. At the time you had all that funk was the big thing then. You know, everything was funk, had to be funk. So that was the big thing at the time. We used to do that song by, oh man, I have a blank on the guy's name now. Uh, I have a blank on the name of the song, which I loved. We used to do a lot. I can't pull it off from the brain right now. But we did at the time. We did what was happening on the charts, what was the hit songs. So when people come to the clubs, they look forward to hearing that type of music. So that's what we did at the time. Cover songs. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Which famous musician do you admire today?
Favorite musician do I admire today? Today, I follow um I follow Rihanna. I follow what's her name? I'm a blank on the names. That young lady. Um, she's a musician. She plays music, the keyboard. She studied music. I forget her. I just can't recall her name right now. But I just listen to all the different musicians and all the different productions. But back in my time, it was like I followed Hobby Hancock and those guys. Yeah.
Excellent. What is the most trouble that you have gotten into when you guys used to travel from state to state or from gig to gig?
The most trouble I got into. I remember we had a gig at a hotel, at a prison, a women's prison. And I lived in Brooklyn back then. And we got there, and in the process of hustling to leave Brooklyn to get to Westchester, I forgot. I usually carry a pouch on me with my ID. I forgot my pouch with all my ID. So we got to the prison, and everybody, they check you out to get in because high security. I didn't have anything. So they said, you can't go in. I was the keyboard player. So the band said, if he can't come in, we're not playing. So anyway, after a bit of negotiation going on between the manager and the authorities, they decided to let me in so I can play. But can you imagine? I was like in prison myself because every move I make, somebody was watching me. So that was a funny gig. I always remembered that. You know, there were other gigs when we played in places. Sometimes it's so cold that your fingers are frozen. Because the heating system was so bad. But like the old saying, the show must go on. So you had to perform. So it was a lot of fun. You build up that vibes and that reputation with a bunch of people, your members. You became family. Even though we are not together now, I always think about them, and we touch base off and on. It's family. It's a part of your life that doesn't just go away. Yeah.
Excellent. What is the best advice you have been given as a musician?
The best advice I've been given, that came from my cousin. He has been out there in the business, and he told me, he said, look, stop trying to write the perfect piece of music. Because I would do one song, and for the next 6 months, I'll be tweaking and changing, and I could do this better, and you keep changing and changing and changing, and sometimes you end up with the same thing that you started with, because you think you can make it perfect. And after a while, you realize there's no such thing as perfect. You become better, not perfect. Nothing is perfect. We are evolving as humans. We are evolving. We never finish learning. So I remember he told me, because I would give him a CD, he would listen to it, and then the next time he would laugh. He said, what now? What changes have you made again? I was constantly changing. So he said, stop. You'll never write that perfect piece of music where you are totally satisfied with everything. So I've gotten to the point now where I make changes, but I know when to pull the switch now. I say, okay, this is it. You are staying. That's it. That's your life now. That's the way you will live the rest of your life. That way.
Excellent. If you could change anything about the music industry, what would it be and why?
If I could change anything about the music industry, what it is and why? That's a big question. It's in life, to me, you always have to give up something to get something else. You cannot hold on to what you have and still move on. Like you're on base one and you want to make a home run, you got to move from base one, and in the process, they can strike you out. The music industry today is different. Internet, you don't have music stores with records and so on. So that aspect of it is gone, but we have gained something else. So it's a matter of being open-minded to accept change. So I am at that stage where, for me to move on, I had to accept the changes, because change is the one thing I realize in life that we cannot stop, slow up, or put on hold for a few seconds. It's constantly moving. So, like folks used to say sometimes, we always hear the good old days. That's how things used to be. So that's what you knew. What it is today is different. So somebody from the good old days would say, this is rubbish because of the good old days, because that's what you knew. But let's dissect what's happening now and see the pluses. In my case, I've seen the pluses. Because of the technology, I can do all of this right here in my little studio, Nutmeg Studio, and put it out there to the world. You see, through the internet. Somebody in Africa or Japan or Switzerland or Sweden or Germany or England can hear my work because of the changes in the industry. So I embrace change. I accept it. I cannot change it. So there's no sense trying to fight it. Just work with it.
Excellent, excellent. What would you say about the musicians who refuse to accept that change?
Well, that's life. If you refuse to accept change, you die. You will die. You have no choice. You have to change because everything is changing. And if you don't change, you get squeezed in a corner. Everything you do now is technology. Pretty much you go to get food, and if you're not into the technology, you wouldn't get, you'll starve because you cannot order your food in the restaurant. Everything is changing, and we have to change if we want to stay alive. And there are lots of pluses, lots of good things with the change. We have bad things that happens in every period. You understand? But a lot more good things are happening because of the change. And it opens a door for a lot of people who would not have had a chance. For instance, me, I can attest to that. Without the change and the technology, I would go to my grave with all of my music because I didn't have the amount of money I needed to hire all the different musicians to do all the different things I wanted to do. Now I can do it all myself. So I love it.
So you accept the change,
Yes,
and not only accept it, but you grow with it by
definitely.
learning the new technology.
Definitely. Because being in that age, you're constantly learning. You have no choice. You have to keep learning. Your brain got to keep working because things are changing constantly. You buy a piece of software today, and by next weekend it's changed. Something new is out. You have to change. You cannot stop it, so you have to get along with it.
Excellent. Now, tell me what you think about, as you said, you use the internet and that's how you get your music out. What do you say to the people who say that the internet is bad for music because it's much easier now to get free music off the internet instead of actually paying for a CD? So I want you to explain to me the good side and the bad side
Well,
for a
yes.
musician on the internet.
Well, that's a fact, because you can get so much music now for free without having to pay for it. It's nice if every time somebody get your music, they would pay at least, even though it's a dime. It's still better than nothing. So I think some sort, like everything else, you have to dissect it and work at it and come up with controls and guidelines and so. So I think all those things are in the making, in the works. But at the same time, for a musician who is unknown, you can get your music out there and people can hear it. You might not make money, but they would know that you are out there. So in other words, I look for the plus in every situation. I look for the good in every situation. Because in every situation, people might say, well, bad things is happening here, but I say, let's dissect it and look at it. And you would find something good in what has happened. So from I'm always looking for the good, for the positive. People might download my music and I might not make $1 from it, but they know who Ellsworth Forrester is. And he's out there. And somebody might hear this song at that person's home and say, who is that? And maybe say, wow, maybe I can put this in a movie. You don't know. So you go with the flow. You just just plant the seeds and just put it out there. And you leave it to the divine spirit and the gods and let them take it where it's supposed to go.
Excellent.
Because
Excellent.
you're not totally in control of everything that's happening.
Now, what would you say for a younger person who is upcoming in the music industry? What advice would you give them?
Learn your craft. Learn your craft. There are a lot of folks out there now, not all, who making maybe millions of dollars, but they're not musicians. You ask them, hit a middle C on the keyboard for me. They don't know what you're talking about. They don't know how to play an instrument, but they can put music out there and make money, because so much of this music now is pre-recorded on software where all you need is just to pull something, paste it, and create a song. But you cannot play an instrument. You cannot play a progression. You cannot play a chord. You see? So these folks like this, more power to them. They're making money. You understand? But the satisfaction of being able to play your instrument, it's beyond money. It's beyond money.
You're totally right because a lot of them know how to manipulate the software,
Right.
but when it comes to an instrument, they have no idea what to do.
Right.
Do you see those that could actually play an instrument? Are they a double threat?
What I see is happening, there is a change in the air. And I have that sense that people are sort of yearning for musicians again. I'm feeling it. I've been to different places and people just appreciate musicians playing because it's different. It's like chalk and cheese. You put a CD, great. You enjoy the party, but it's nothing like a band playing some live music. You just can't. It's two different things, two different worlds. You cannot compare it.
So basically, live band rules.
Yes. And I think things seems to go around in circles. New changes come and then things come back. What was old comes back and becomes new again. Change, excuse me. You know, so I think it's a time for everything. And I sense it that people are yearning for musicians to play. They go to a club and this guy's playing his saxophone and playing his trumpet and playing his guitar. There's more to it. You know, there's that love to it, you know.
Excellent. Where do you think the music industry will be in the next, let's say, the next 5 to 10 years? So far, in your thoughts?
With the thing about it, the change we are experiencing is the technology is changing things so fast in the world that we live that in my mind, based on the speed of change, it's sort of, in my mind, it's hard to figure out what will happen in the next 5 or 10 years. You know, because, our world is just changing upside down with the technology. You know, but music will be there, whatever form or format it might come in, music will be there. It's the language, that universal language, music. It will always be there.
So tell me, what's next for you?
Well, what's next for me? I am continuing to write, put out my CDs, plant the seeds, and I hope whoever hear my voice or hear my music, you can go to CD Baby or iTunes, whatever, help me plant the seeds so it can reach as many people, out there. And I will keep doing it because it continues to flow. It's a blessing. It's a gift from the Creator. So I just have to keep doing it until such time. You never know. You don't know what's behind the door for you. I don't know. Something might happen where you just take me from music to something else. I don't know. I just go with the flow.
Excellent. Anything else you want to add?
Life is wonderful. And I for one, I don't take any day for granted at this stage. I cherish every moment that I'm awake and conscious. I love life and I love every human being that I meet. Every form of life, I love it. The butterfly, the birds, the rabbit. Wherever you find life, I appreciate it and I respect life because we are just passing through. A lot of people have answers to where we're going. I don't know where the hell we're going. But we are passing through and time seems to go by so fast. For you turn around, you run out of time. So we have to wake up and cherish each day, enjoy each day, try to incorporate laughter into our lives, and be good to our fellow man each day. Be good to yourself, love you. Like one of my songs said, You cannot love somebody if you don't love yourself. So we have to learn to love ourselves, and it makes it easier to love someone else.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're quite welcome.